Hi guys, Jay Smith here, welcome to AskGolfNut channel and welcome to what I believe is the best overall iron of 2024 going into 2025. Now I've already done the best of players distance, game improvement and also the players sector irons of 2024. This one is my opinion of the best overall. Now in those ones we were very much so looking at objective data. When you look at forgiveness, face speed, launch factors and stuff like this, which is the best one of the lot? I didn't really include any looks and feel, and I didn't include any price. I will do on my overall idea. Now, so before people turn off, I have actually got the Wilson Staff Model CB, the cavity back, their players cavity irons. Now, before people turn off on that one, because obviously think, well, I can't play a player's cavity because I'm an 18 handicapper, I'm a 20. The whole idea of doing this video is to showcase just why people could play this iron. I've already done the full forgiveness review so you can see how good this is. Now, this is going to be a player's cavity iron and you would expect it not to be forgiving, but it is. If you see my heat map testing that I do on all of the current irons that I've tested, and there's give or take nearly 50 in the database now, this ranks up really quite high in the forgiveness ratings and it is a player's cavity iron. So we're at a hole, we're going to do some hitting first. I've got a pitching wedge in my hand and also got a 7-iron down there. We just hit a few shots into a green. We're 110 yards or so away. We'll do some pitching wedges, and if my knee, because I've twinged my little knee, oh by the way, sympathy, comment below. And if my knee can take it, I'll do the 7-iron after this. If not, we'll just go straight to the PC and then show you all the information as to why subjectively and objectively this is the best overall iron of 2024. Right, 110 yards or so. I've got a pitching wedge in my hand, so it's only going to be 3/4 or so of a swing. My left leg, as you can see, splaying my feet out a little bit just to try and take away some of the pressure from my left knee. Little left of the green, onto green, little left of the pin even, but pretty decent speed. Look at that, in the out, take the gimme circle. Now, obviously, no data on this one. I'm not gonna worry about putting dots on the face or anything else like that, it's no point. These are lovely feeling. These are 8620, I think it is, whatever it is inside here, 1025, it doesn't matter. It's lovely and soft feeling forgings. And that's the great thing with these and also the blades. Now the blades are slightly less forgiving than this, and that you would normally associate a blade to be less forgiving or the least forgiving of all, but actually blades are more forgiving than you think, and this especially. You don't have to hit the middle at all to have a very, very good result. Right, let's do another one. I'm still contemplating getting this 7-iron out. Is it enough? Is it enough? Go a bit more, not quite in the gimme circle. Pretty darn decent though from 110 or so yards away. Right, let's go flick over to the 7-iron. This is the one that I did all my testing with. I've got the 4-2 pitching wedge for the media samples again, who really use the 4-iron nowadays. So we'll go grab the 7-iron into a longer hole and let's go see how that feels before we have a look at the computer and just see how good these golf clubs are. 7-iron in my hand. So this is the one that I did the test with, and this is the one that I done all my heat mapping data with. This one is extremely forgiving for a player's cavity iron, and you know what, when it comes to the database that I've got, which is near on 50 golf clubs right now, they are basically more forgiving than people think. They rank really quite high in the forgiveness level. Now I measured them off the toe, heel and low, all the weird and wonderful places that we do have a tendency to miss, and these do exceptionally well. The looks on this thing is just lovely. This one has got a really quite nice and thin top line, not as thin as a blade, but not bad whatsoever. Sole thickness is actually medium. It's not massively tiny, not massively tiny. You kind of get the idea. It's not really tiny. It's actually a medium sole thickness, and of course the blade lengths are really quite nice. So this is a really pleasing looking iron. Right, so let's go give this one a hit into the green a few times before we go over to the computer. Is that going to draw back enough? I'm not quite sure. The pin's right at the back of the green. I haven't got much room in the back there, but again, lovely shot, absolutely fine. That was not plumb on middle. Again, I've got the data in front of me. I'm going to worry about putting the data up on the screen here, but I mean, it's just feeling really quite nice. You can get away with thins, heels, toes. One of the best performing overall of all irons when you don't hit the middle. That was slightly heely and very slightly low, but as you can see, that makes no difference whatsoever. Swinging at not quite 90 miles an hour, but then again, I am worried about the old knee. I'm getting old, but that just feels lovely, works lovely, don't have to hit the middle, just a very, very good iron. That's more down the pipe, it's just a case of, will it go out the back? No, we're absolutely fine. Look at that, yeah. Don't go out the God, nearly a gimme there for a second. I cannot complain the slightest. Now, of course, I am a half decent golfer, decent reviewer. Obviously, I hit a lot of golf clubs a lot of the time. And so I'm going to be hitting middle a lot. But this golf club, even though it looks the way it does, you do not have to hit the middle. And it just feels so very, very nice. Just feels lovely. There's nothing really, because I love a bit of chrome, there's nothing really that I can complain or moan about when it comes to this iron. That's a leak. That might miss the green on the right hand side. That's my fault, not the golf club's. Just off the green. Can't complain with anything on this golf club. I really cannot. It provides all the help that you think that it doesn't, but it actually does. Looks great, feels great. Cost is fairly, I don't want to say cheap. You're not allowed to say cheap in marketing. Budget orientated. There we go. It is definitely cheaper than the premium brands, but you don't then have to suffer with the lack of custom fit options as well. Last one, let's go to the PC. It's closer to the pin. Down the left-hand side slightly, but I mean, it's really quite good. You can't complain with that in the slightest. Love it, I just do. Absolutely could game these. I could game the blades as well, but these ones, if you're looking for a golf club overall that has so much more help than you give it credit for, you cannot get better than the CB. Right, let's go to the computer now. Let's go show you exactly how we come to the conclusion that this is the best overall iron of 2024. Going in to 2025, it's the most underrated as well. Wilson are a brand which are, I think, still the most winningest, is that a word? The most winning brand, major brand on tour when it comes to majors. And so let's go see how this stacks up against forgiveness, the toe, heel, low, face speed, launch factors, all those things, looks and feel, and also, more importantly, price. So why do I think the Wilson CB 2024 iron is the best overall and underrated iron on the market? It's a player's cavity, so it looks really quite nice. It feels lovely. And from a forgiveness point of view, it does extremely well. It punches well above its weight of what people would normally see. People would normally think and believe that the game improvement sector is the most forgiving. Now, okay, yes, on my advanced data that I've got for my YouTube members to see, yes, the most forgiving golf club on there is a game improvement iron. But if you look at all the range, they're not just populated all by game improvement irons. There are a lot of different golf clubs in there of different categories. So hopefully down below on the screen you have a table of all the information which comes straight from the advanced data tables which my YouTube members got access to. And you can see there, normally we don't have looks, feel, price and custom fit options in there because very much so that's subjective to a certain extent, especially looks and feel, and then also price. Price is important to some or not important to others, so yeah, but we'll add it in there today. Looks, you've got 8 out of 10. This is not a blade, so it's not gonna, for me, score 10 out of 10, but it scores very, very highly, 8 out of 10. 9 out of 10, there are not many golf clubs on the planet that are going to feel better than this. It feels really quite nice. Price, this is a big thing. Now, Wilson are not a budget manufacturer. Wilson are really a premium brand that over the last X amount of years have, I say fallen, but they've come away from the marketing of where the likes of TaylorMade and Callaway are very aggressive in how they do things, and so they shout the loudest. Now, Wilson, generally speaking, don't shout that much. They don't spend a huge amount of money on tour players, etc. So, of course, unfortunately, as time goes on, they start to move around in what people perceive to be how good a brand is or not. They are effectively a premium brand, but they're priced at a much more competitive rate. 70% of premium. So if you look at, generally speaking, all the other premium irons, how much the CBs would cost, they're about 70% of the cost of a premium, which is amazingly good value. I really don't understand why some golfers, a lot more golfers, don't really have Wilson on their list. Now, a lot of it is because availability of custom fitting. I know I've heard quite a few stories of where people are having to travel hundreds of miles to actually get a proper fitting from different brands, but it has got around about 45 different shaft choices for you to go from. I mean, that's quite a lot. I'm pretty certain within 45 you'll find a bend profile which is going to suit you. And then when it looks at the toe, heel, low percentages and the F average, which is forgiveness average, effectively you can see the percentages there are how much a golf club drops off in efficiency, so ball speed for every millimeter you move off towards the toe or heel or low from middle. And so it's doing really very, very well. Forgiveness wise, if you want to have a look on the 23%, so the average golf club on my list, and I've got around about nearly 50 on there now, the average golf club is 0%. So if you imagine, I've got super game improvement irons in there, game improvement irons, players distance, and also players irons. Well, to find a player's iron in there, which is 23% more forgiving than the average when you've got game improvement irons in there as well, that's really, really impressive, like properly impressive. When you look at face speed, distance, face spin rate, launch, all those things, they are very much so relative to the golfer and what they need. If you're going to be looking at a slow swing speed golfer, as a general rule, they're going to need as much face speed rate as you possibly can and as much launch factor as possible to try and get that golf ball going as fast and as high as you can to try and keep carry distances up. If you look at a faster swing speed golfer who generates speed because they swing quicker, you don't need necessarily that. You don't want the golf ball launching too high with too much spin, etc., because again, it will just balloon up in the air. So they're going to require different things. Even anyone in between that, if they launch the golf ball too high or too low, they could need completely different. That's why I have them all on the list so people can pick what they need depending on what kind of swing characteristics they have. So let's have a look at how the Wilson CB gets on when it comes to the heat map. So if you haven't seen one of these before, this is an illustration of how much drop off you get when you don't hit the middle. So at the top you can see you've got 0 all the way to -22 on the right hand side, that is the heel, and +22 on the left hand side, that is the toe. So we're looking at the face as in face on. You've got high on the face and low on the face, as you can see on the left hand side. Of course, you've got the blue line there, that blue dotted line. What is that? That is turf interaction line. That effectively means if you're going to hit the golf ball 5 or 6 millimeters above the line where you should, then you are going to be interacting with the ground first. As soon as you interact with the ground, well, that's going to be taking far more sting out of your golf shot than anything to do with how efficient high on the face is. So please don't hit a golf ball heavy. We all know that anyway. But you can see you can move all the way to 22 millimeters off the toe, say, and vertically good, say 0 mil, and you're only losing 4% of your ball speed, your efficiency, your smash factor, depending on what launch monitor you use. And that is really quite good from a, well, what people perceive to be an elite player's iron. It's a cavity back, but it's a small looking golf club, lovely looking golf club, but quite small. So people automatically, straight away, they don't even bother looking at these kind of golf clubs because they think they are too, or the golf clubs are too good for them, or they are not good enough for the golf clubs. When in actual fact, when you measure the drop off in efficiency you get from these kind of golf clubs, commonly the player's cavity sector is a really very, very good option. Now, of course, if you go over to the next screen, which is the screen of that same grid overlaid onto the golf club, you can see a red strip there. That red strip basically means please don't hit me there, because if you do move over to around about 21, 22 millimeters away from the middle, you are going to be interacting with the hosel. And of course, no one likes our hosel rocket, so please don't hit me there. And it's okay, if you can move over to a toe or low on your miss as a pattern, then please do so. And you can see if you are low on the face, you've got some decent amount of green going down to that low, thin part of the face. They don't say thin to win to nothing or for nothing. So if you want to know as a general rule, what is this like compared to the winner of the player's distance side of things? So you can actually see how good the best player's distance iron is against this CB. I've got the Limit 3D, the Cobra Limit 3D, which is an amazing iron for its forgiveness, considering it's a player's distance iron. They are very, very similar, although there is a massive difference in price between the Limit 3D and the CB. We are talking masses and masses of money. Many sets of you could probably buy of CBs for one set of Limit 3Ds. If you are going to go move it to the most forgiving iron that I have ever tested, and it is the JPX 925 Hot Metal Pro. Yes, you can see the size of that green blob on the HMP, the Hot Metal Pro. It is considerably bigger than that of the CB, but that is the best iron of anyone has ever made when it comes to actually measuring forgiveness. And so I'm not surprised that the CB is going to be slightly under the HMP. Now, of course, if you're going to go for full-on forgiveness and don't really care about anything else, then the 925 Hot Metal Pro absolutely should be your pick if you're looking for absolute forgiveness. If you want the overall, and what I mean by the overall, I want the best in forgiveness as a balance with looks, feel, price, custom fit options, you can see that the CB does exceptionally well. Wilson is a massively underrated brand. I don't know what they're going to have to do apart from spending a boatload of money on marketing to try and get people to understand, to get golfers to understand just how good they are. And they continue to make products which are amazingly good value and perform, and forgiveness wise are amazingly good. It is my overall, my most underrated, best performer of 2024. They just do everything really very, very well. And I can see handicap golfers across the whole range using these irons and just test them. You don't have to, if you've got your preconceived ideas that I'm a 28 handicapper, handicap is a terrible way of understanding what equipment you need. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out, but you'll be surprised just how good these are when you compare these to other irons which we'd normally put on your list to test. Hope you liked the video. If you did, go on, give it a big old thumbs up, hit that like button. YouTube likes so do I. Down there is a subscribe button. It's free. It's great for the channel if you could subscribe, so thank you. And next to that one is a bell icon. That's a notification bell. If you click that one, that will notify you next time I upload another video. Hope you're well. We'll see you again soon.